Tracy from firstdayofhome.com, and we are going to have some fun today making salt dough ornaments. This is a great craft for the whole family. My boys loved being a part of this. In fact, they asked if they could make salt dough ornaments for their birthday party. So I think you're gonna have a lot of fun. It's super easy to follow this recipe, and I'm gonna walk you through every step. Before we get too far, I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel and go ahead and ring the bell for more crafts, DIY projects, and easy recipes. Let's go ahead and get started.
What I love about this recipe is that it only takes 3 ingredients. So you'll start by measuring out about 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Now you can double the recipe, but I find that this particular recipe makes plenty for my family of 4. Next, you're going to add about half a cup of regular table salt and blend it in with the flour. I don't recommend using kosher salt, although you can if you don't have any other salt available. Your dough may come out just a little bit thicker and not as smooth for your ornaments. Next, you'll add about 3/4 cup of water, and I like to use slightly warm water just to make sure that the flour and salt mix well together. And as you can also see, I like using my hands to mix the dough. You do have the option of using a stand mixer or a hand mixer. I just like being able to feel the consistency of the dough and know whether I need to add more water if it's too dry or add more flour if it's too sticky. Definitely don't recommend wearing rings while you're doing this. You will get a little messy working with this dough. Once the dough holds together pretty well, you can begin kneading it with your hands and get ready for the next step, which is rolling it out and making our cookie shapes.
Now that I have my salt dough ready, I'm going to begin rolling it out and making my cookie cutter shapes. But before we do that, I just thought I'd share a few ideas of how you can use this salt dough recipe. For my Halloween mantle, which you may have seen another YouTube video for recently, I made these stems using salt dough. So don't think that you're just limited to using cookie cutter shapes. You can form it into anything, and as long as you bake it long enough, it's gonna turn out great. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to open up my cookie cutters from the Dollar Tree and simply roll out my dough and begin making my shapes.
Some recipes suggest using parchment paper to roll out your dough, but I find that the dough is dry enough that it doesn't stick much using just a regular cutting board and a rolling pin. You can use some flour to dust the rolling pin and the dough if it starts to stick. And just remember, you can always reuse leftover dough after you make your cookie cutter shapes. The next part is pretty straightforward. Just put as many cookie cutter shapes as you can on the dough, and you'll notice that the salt dough doesn't really stick to the cookie cutters, but if you need to dust them with flour, go ahead and do that. And then once you've finished making all of your shapes and can't fit any more, you just simply roll up the dough again and start the process over. It's really just like making regular cookies for the holidays. Before baking our ornaments, we'll want to punch a hole at the top using a drinking straw or a dowel or anything else you have that might be handy for this. Just try not to get too close to the top so your ornament won't break. I like to just round out the edges to make sure they're smooth before I put them on the baking sheet, so you may want to take an opportunity to do that. I found these adorable little mini stamps at Michael's, and I thought they'd look great on the salt dough ornaments. So you can use little stamps like this to put your initials in the ornaments or write out little simple phrases. In this case, I'm going to write love, and on others I'll write joy or hope. or believe, so you can really have some fun with it. And you can also use toothpicks, knives, or any other tools you have to make other fun shapes on the ornaments before you bake them. Next, we're going to bake our ornaments at 250 degrees Fahrenheit for about 2 hours. If you're having trouble with your ornaments rising too much in the oven, or you're at a high altitude, try reducing the temperature and then baking for a longer amount of time.
Now that our salt dough ornaments have finished baking, it's time for the fun part, decorating them. And I've already taken the liberty of decorating a few just to show you some examples. I painted a red and white candy cane. This is just using acrylic paint or chalk paint that you can find on Amazon. I'll put a few links below, or at your local craft store like Michael's or Hobby Lobby. And it goes on really smoothly. You can also use Mod Podge to cover the ornament and then apply glitter. It really is up to you. I mean, go at it. Have fun with it, apply fabric, fur, glitter, whatever you can think of. It's really the most fun aspect of making salt dough ornaments. So let me also show you another example of ways to decorate. I used a salt dough ornament to decorate this Christmas gift in one of my other YouTube tutorials that I'll put a link to for you because it was a lot of fun. We used Dollar Tree items and put together several different crafts. I did this with a group of friends, and I decided to add a little salt dough ornament like you can see here. And that's one of the ones that we stamped, but you'll notice it has a really brilliant gold color that I just love, and I'll link to what I'm using. It's called Precious Metals, and it really is beautiful. It says that it's 18 karat gold, but it doesn't cost 18 karat gold prices because I would not use that for crafting. So I'm gonna show you what that looks like, as well as some of the acrylic paints that I have, just to give you a flavor of what you might do with them.
Here's a look at our finished salt dough ornament, and these are some of the paints I used. I just bought these at Michael's. You can also find them at Hobby Lobby or on Amazon. I also used a little chalk paint, but any type of acrylic paint or chalk paint would work. You can also use felt, like these pieces I picked up, or add glitter using a little bit of Mod Podge, as I mentioned. This is really the part where kids have a blast. My boys, they wanted to do this every single day after school. They really had fun with it, making their own creations and using their imaginations. You'll want to wait about 10 or 15 minutes in between coats. Here I'm just painting a few little stripes on my candy cane after the chalk paint dried. While the paint is still wet on your ornaments, you can apply a little bit of glitter. You also have the option of waiting for the paint to dry completely and then putting Mod Podge, regular matte or glossy, on your ornament and then sprinkling a little bit of glitter. I really like this glitter because it's not super fine, so it's a little bit easier to contain the mess. Here's a look at one of our stamped ornaments. You can see how cute it turned out, and I'm going to show you how this precious metals looks on these ornaments. It is really beautiful. You'll just want to shake it first and then apply it with a brush just like you would any other paint. It is pretty thin, so it goes on really easily and it dries pretty quickly. But I think the shine that you get with this is just so pretty. You can see how it shimmers and really adds a nice luster to the ornaments. My only word of caution is that the fumes are a little bit strong, so I really don't recommend using this product with kids. Once your ornaments are painted, you can always go back and add some little accents like felt or ribbon. On this little gingerbread man, I decided to add this cute rickrack ribbon that I found at Walmart. I just think it gives the ornaments a little more character and really brings them to life. This little guy seemed like he was still missing something, so I decided to give him some googly eyes. I think he turned out so cute, but he still needed one more thing. I also had fun decorating this little snowman with pieces of ribbon that I had left over from my last tutorial. You can use items that you have around the house like ribbon, buttons, whatever you can find really. I even ended up adding some little sticks from our backyard to give the snowman some little arms. So have fun with it, get the kids involved and enjoy it. If you'd like to seal your glittered ornaments, you can use a thin coat of Mod Podge, and I recommend doing one color of glitter at a time because I did end up getting my colors a little bit mixed up on this ornament, which is fine. It still looks cute, but you may want to take your time with it and just do one section at a time. The last step is simply adding some pretty ribbon to your ornaments so that you can hang them on a tree or put them on a Christmas gift and give away to friends and family. And you are all set to enjoy your salt dough ornaments this season.
As always, I so appreciate you watching and spending your time with me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It means a lot to me and it helps support my channel so I can bring you more craft projects and DIYs like this. In the meantime, I'm going to leave a few videos that I hope you might enjoy, and don't forget to check out my website where I have a lot more craft inspiration, including these free gift tags that I mentioned that you can download. So I'll put a link to that below, and I look forward to seeing you next time.